There are so many cliches about being big. Big is better, go big or go home. Small things make big things happen. Anyway, the point is, this review had us a little bit stumped. Not because we were unimpressed. No, quite the opposite. It was because, well, we were overwhelmed. Very overwhelmed. Let's be honest, you put this thing next to a Ranger and it'll make it look like a midget. This is the 2020 Ford F-150 Platinum Super Crew. It's not a monster, it's not a beast, it's not a giant, it's a unit. Wow. Up front, you've got LEDs everywhere, and I mean everywhere. DRLs, headlamps, turn signals, fog lamps, just light-emitting diodes everywhere. And a grille massive enough to swallow the entire of Lake Michigan in one go. Complaints on the front clip? Maybe if you're a bug and this thing's coming at you at 100 kilometers per hour, cause curse splat. Okay, maybe one if you're human. The air dam found below, nothing spectacular. Oh, and these tow hooks, these things are rated to pull 10,000 pounds. Each. So basically you can play tug of war with a Sherman tank. You won't win, but you can try. Too much? Open her up and you've got a 3.5 liter V6 twin turbo EcoBoost that produces 375 horses and 637 Newton meters of torque, which is crazy. Made it to a 10-speed automatic transmission, which means that this can propel the entire car almost as fast as an EcoBoost Mustang, which is pretty impressive since it weighs over 2,500 kilograms. Now, fuel efficiency, nothing great, because in soul-sucking traffic, this thing will give you 4 kilometers per liter. When that clears up, it's about 6. And on the highway, unfortunately, the best that we could do was 11. So basically, this thing is as thirsty as a kid at a frat party doing a keg stand. Too much? Earl! Show off. Now, while on its side, you can tell that it's basically an expedition without the third row. Now, the F-150 has 239 millimeters of ground clearance, 20s with 50 series tires. That's a very nice touch. You've got repeaters on the side mirror, a keypad found on the driver's door, and because this land yacht is so big, it's got sensors on the port and starboard side. Oh, and one more thing. It's got a very James Bond gimmick kind of a thing, just like the Expedition. And if you think that's James Bondish, check this out. Not only does it have a remote tailgate, but this bed can carry over 1,400 kilograms of weight and has a capacity of over 1,500 liters of space. Now, I'm not saying that's big, but it can carry John Daly and his entire crew for a round at Pebble Beach. Oh my God. Oh my God. I hit the... Too much? Too much?
Of course it is too much.
Now, we do a lot of reviews of sedans and vans alike, specifically talking about the space that you can find in the back. But this is a pickup truck. And the amount of space you get back here, it's like the deck on the Titanic. This thing, look at this. It's massive. You got a panoramic sunroof. You've got a center armrest with 2 cup holders on very soft leather seats. You've got 2 cup holders up here, a 12-volt socket, 2 USB charging points, a plug, so to speak, air vents, cubby holders on either door, and check this out, piece de resistance. For the safety of the rear, you've got inflatable belts. This thing is like a Rolls Royce. And one pickup truck, definitely one pickup truck that I don't mind spending more time in the back than I actually do up front. Wait a minute, I'm lying. I want to drive. Getting into the proper driving position inside the F-150, not a problem at all, because as you can see, everything is motorized and returns to its original driving position that you set it at. Here up front, you've got analog gauges that flank a digital trip computer. You've got a leather-wrapped steering wheel, leather almost everywhere actually. Buttons on your steering wheel. You've got a 360-degree camera in this 8-inch touchscreen infotainment system that has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. You've got dual-zone air controls there, USB ports, cubby holders there, and you've got, well, something big enough that can hold. Have you ever seen the movie Seven? You know the ending of it with the box? You know, I'm not saying there's a severed head in there, but I'm just saying it's big enough to hold one in. It's kind of morbid, don't you think? That was Earl's joke. There are two more things that I'd like to add. Number one is that it's so comfortable up here that Ford makes it even more comfortable by adding massage chairs. Not just for the driver, but for the passenger as well. That's number one. And number two, there is a 10-speaker Bang & Olufsen system with a subwoofer that can make even Ken Lee sound good.
Oh, Ken Lee, without you.
Okay, maybe not. Other features up here include heated and cooled seats, heated just for the back, and a 12-volt socket and or a 110 outlet. A 110? Who still uses 110? America. The Ford F-150 Platinum Super Crew 4x4 also comes equipped with dual front airbags, front seat side airbags, side curtain airbags, safety canopy system, rollover sensors, inflatable rear seat belts, ABS with EBD, an individual tire pressure monitoring system, sport, eco, snow, tow driving modes, advanced track with roll stability control, a passive anti-theft system, a perimeter alarm, front and rear parking sensors, remote start, trailer sway control, automatic emergency braking, adaptive cruise control, forward collision warning, dynamic brake support, blind spot monitoring, active park assist, curve control, SOS, post-crash alert system, and ISOFIX tethers. Let's get one thing straight. This thing is almost 6 meters long and over 2 meters wide. It's no tiny thing. It's massive. It's a behemoth. And it makes anything that you put next to it, including me, inside it, look really, really tiny. But really, it doesn't feel like it, especially when you're driving it, because the steering is so light, the visibility is great. The A-pillars aren't really a problem because the majority of the thickness is much lower. The side mirrors are much further from you. So driving it, really, whether you're on the road, on the highway, or in tighter roads inside the city, it's not really a problem. The one thing though that is a problem are your blind spots behind you. Yes, there are blind spot monitors that go beep, 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 but since the car is so massive, not only should you turn your head, you should like stick your head out the window and say hi, hello to everybody else because the car is just so big. That being said, driving this thing can be a problem to some and will most likely be a challenge to most. Simply because, well, the way that they designed it and built it, they were supposed to drive this thing on the vast highways of the United States and vast roads. So driving it on EDSA and bumper-to-bumper traffic inside the Philippines, wherever in the Philippines you are, yes, it definitely will be a challenge. But that's where the 360-degree camera comes into play. And that's a really big help, especially when you're in the city. The thing though, in the city, when you want to, I don't know, take it to the mall or whatnot, yeah, that might be an issue for two things. One, headroom will then actually fit inside the garage. And two, finding a spot where you can actually park this thing. That might be a problem. That actually might be a bigger problem than the amount of gas that you have to put inside this thing. It's got the space, it's got the muscle. It's definitely a pickup truck. But when you get it out on the road, especially with a clear patch in front of you, man, this thing does not feel like a pickup truck because essentially it is, after all, an Expedition without a third row. The steering is off, the ride is smooth, the engine is smooth, the NVH is absolutely great. You will forget that you're in a pickup. Even though there are leaf springs on this thing, the sheer weight of this, which is over 2,500 kilograms, and the fact that there's a V6 in front of you, EcoBoost or not, wow, it just makes for a really great drive. And you never would want to get out of this car even though it's a pickup, which is odd. First thing you want to do inside a pickup is get out, right? Not in this. And then there's the added feature of the massage chairs and the air vents in the chairs, and you're like, and lane keep assist. Dude, game over. Wala na. Just stay inside the car forever. Forever. In fact, Jack, drive. I don't feel like driving anymore. Ah! Kids, don't try that with your dad's car. Overwhelming and outlandish. Two words that a lot of people will definitely use to describe this particular pickup truck. It's too wide, it's too long, it eats too much gasoline. And the price? Wait a minute, that's actually not too much. Because considering what this capable land yacht can do, it's available at 2,998,000 Philippine pesos. Now sure, it's definitely not going to be your first car or your second car. Heck, not even your third car. It could be your fourth and fifth car because of the sheer size of it. It's maybe too much for some, but for those that really know what they want, this is something that they want way too much.